Hello everybody, Tanya here and Kevin right there. We decided we should do a how-to video and show you the weekly, what shall we call it, Kevin? How to dump.
Sanitation procedure.
Oh, sanitation procedure. That's much better than how to dump. Okay, so you have a dedicated hose, and that thing there we had to actually pay extra to have that installed. Can you tell them what that does?
This is your black tank flush. Basically, when you drain your black tank, there's still a lot of stuff in there, and it's nasty, and it can dry in there and get stuck to the sides and everything. So what you might do is run a garden hose all the way into your RV and stick it down the toilet and try and fill it back up with water after you dump it. But what we got here, we just turn on this tap with our black garden hose, and it's pumping water into the black tank. So after I've dumped it, this black handle, the waste goes down this big black flexible hose and into the drain right there, provided by our campground. Takes about 30 seconds when there's a lot in there.
But you start the water up before you dump?
Why not?
Because it might be very full and it can come up in the toilet?
It's not very full.
How do you know? It's been a whole week.
I know. From experience. And now that it's finished dumping, and there's already some water flowing now to help flush that big hose down. Now we'll shut off the drain and look at our watch. 12:32 and 45 seconds. So I only want to let that fill for about 3 minutes. If it gets to 4.5 minutes, it may be coming up in the toilet into the RV. So 3 minutes, I've filled most of that black water tank. So it's getting a really good rinse, and then I'll drain it again, and I'll fill it up one more time. And this time while it's filling, I'm actually going to put a little soap down through the toilet so it gets it a little bit cleaner. So then the second time I fill it, it's more of a rinse. See? I gotta go do that now.
Yeah, okay. And you see here there's a black handle, so that's the one for black water, which is the sewage. This one here, the gray one, is, you guessed it, for the purple water. No, I'm kidding. That's for gray water. So that is everything from our sinks and our shower. And when you're dumping the gray water, you don't have to attach this black water tank rinse here. But I think it was around $200 to have that installed, because in this model it didn't come with it. But it's a really good idea to have that ability to rinse your tank so that, you know, you don't have things sticking to the side of the tank, and yeah, keeps it clean. So on this here, you see all these things are in the same place. So all the black, gray water things, they're all in here. Also there's fresh water drain. Where we connect the generator, right? It's here. Can you tell us about that?
This is your power cord for your shore power. So right now we have it plugged into the RV park's power outlet with our surge protector attached in case there's a spike or something that would damage our onboard electrical circuits. So what we've done is, so when we're boondocking, we'll take that cord, coil it up in here, and plug in here. So this is the outlet that's fed by our generator. So when we want to power something inside the RV or charge our batteries, we run the generator. So then our shore power cord is being fed by our own power supply.
Right. Okay. And tell them about that blue hose, please.
This blue hose is
Yes.
our freshwater inlet coming from the campground, from the water faucet here. It goes through our filter, so it filters out any contaminants from the city or bad plumbing or whatever. Goes into the RV, so from there we can fill our tank and carry fresh water, 60 gallons. Or in the normal position, this valve, the water just goes straight to our faucets inside the water heater. So we're taking water directly from the city.
Okay. So
Now I gotta pull this handle right
now we have to hold the handle.
And you see the water
And-
comes gushing out down into that hole. We've screwed our connector from our hose right into the pipe so that there's no chance there's going to be a leak, and there's a rubber gasket there. It's all clean and secure.
And Kevin keeps checking his watch. Even though it's, oh, now you can see it's running.
finished.
Yeah, no, I see it running still.
Yeah, that's just the water that's going in there from the hose. So
Right.
now we're gonna give it one more fill. Kind of rinses it out a little bit extra.
Okay.
Black water tank flush is a really good idea, so you don't get a buildup of sewage in that black tank over the years.
Right. And
Gives
do you
it a
want
good
to
cleaning.
tell the story of what happened when we were in the Everglades?
Yeah, we're at Everglades National Park in Florida. We went to the dump station, we pulled up and dumped and everything, and I saw another rig behind us in line. But I pulled ahead and let him come up and connect
When we were done.
When we were done, so that I could put all my stuff away and not hold him up. And he, after a couple of minutes, he's like, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" So I went over. He said, "How do you know when it's full, or it doesn't seem to be emptying? You know, all the lights inside show that it's still full." I said,
And it was a nice new,
Yeah,
it was a very
fairly new
looking
motorhome.
Class A.
and I said, "Did you just buy this thing?" He said, "No, we rented it. There's this program where RV owners can rent out their rigs if you want to take an RV out for a week or something on your vacation." So we got this thing, and we drove all the way down to Key West, and there were no campsites at all. So I came all the way back up to here. It's been a long, long day, and now we got to dump this thing. So I'm just trying to figure out, you know, and he had a black water flush hose hooked up, and it was running. And he said he pulled the handle, and it seemed that it was still full. So we're talking, and I'm talking about this program where you can rent out your RV and stuff like that.
Well, and then he was asking you how to actually do it.
How to do it. So he hadn't read the instructions, he hadn't watched a video, the owner hadn't showed him what to do, which was crazy. And then one of his kids comes out running around the RV. "Daddy, there's water running down the stairs at the door to the RV." And he gave me this look, and I looked at him and I said, "Shut this hose off, open this valve." And he's like, "I think we got a lot of cleaning to do." I said, "Yeah, I'll leave you to that job." So what happened was he'd run this hose so long, the water came up out of the toilet, flooded the floor of the place so much that it was running down the stairs. And all I could think was, when that poor guy who owns the RV gets it back in a couple of days, he's gonna wonder what that funny smell is.
Right?
We pulled to our campsite, and a couple hours later I looked back and he was still parked right there. Him and the wife were coming out, bringing stuff out. Oh my God. What a horror story.
Yeah. So Kevin is very particular in watching the
Watching
time.
make sure I don't overfill anything.
Because you want to rinse it, but you don't want to
Don't want it
fill
coming
up the RV
indoors.
with water and you know, do a mop job of disgustingness.
You always pull the gray tank last,
And why is that, Kevin?
so that the gray water can flush out some of the bad sewage out of your drain hose.
So you're rinsing it with
You don't
the.
open them at the same time, that's for darn sure.
Oh, say that
You
again.
don't open them both at the same time, because your bad sewage can get up into your gray water tank, and then you'll smell it coming out your pipes and everything.
Yeah.
You put all that bacteria in there, it's gonna be nasty.
And another thing that's good to know that we learned is when people come and set up in parks like this, you know, you have your sewage right here, And so it's tempting. You think, oh, well, I'll just leave this open all the time. Then I don't have to do this. Like we do this once a week. You know, I'm parked here, I got the sewage, and I'll just leave it open and it can just drain immediately down into the sewage. Well, the problem with that is that your liquid waste will drain out, but your solid waste will start building a nice little mountain in your tank, and that can end up solidifying. We've read some horror stories about that, and then you can't get it out unless you have to take it somewhere and they actually have to access your tank and, I don't know, chisel it out just about. So you want to be sure that you keep liquid in there in order for the solid not to become really solid, if you know what I mean. So we never leave our sewage just open. We always, even when we're in a situation like this, we go through this process where Kevin empties the sewage and does the rinse and all of that. And since we're hooked up to water here and there's a plethora of water, you know, when we're boondocking, we're very conservative with our water, but here we have water all the time. So I will say that usually about halfway through the week, I just dump the gray water, particularly right now because our indicator lights, for some strange reason, don't work anymore. So we don't really know the level of our gray water and our black water tank. So we're just guesstimating and hoping and crossing our fingers. And so I always dump the gray partway through the week, especially if I've, you know, rinsed a lot of vegetables or done some juicing. That always requires a lot of water. And Kevin is demonstrating. You saw his blue gloves. You always want to wear gloves. Either you don't have to get the nice thick ones. If you want to just stick with the thin latex ones, you can. But Kevin has the thicker ones, which he reuses, and then he always puts disinfectant on his hand after. And what is this?
This is your tank deodorizer. Biologically helps the waste decompose faster. So after you flush, drop one of these in. And don't
into the toilet
and flush it down. And don't play with it too long because this plastic it's in will deteriorate very fast, especially if it gets wet.
Were we gonna
have blue stuff all over the place in yourself?
Don't play with it. Were we gonna do hacky sack or something with it? Or use it as a chess piece? Oh, and wait, Kevin, show off your shirt.
Truck yeah.
From the Phoenix Truck Driving Institute. And no, we're not. Oh, sorry, that was that was a nice shot. Okay, there he goes. You see, our floor, no flooding problems. Good job, Kevin.
Thank you, dear.
And that's it. Well done. So well, he's already trying to give you the wave. He didn't really want to do this video because he's a little shy about showing people, you know.
Next thing you're gonna come in and film me sitting on the toilet.
Yeah.
Come on.
That would be
Here's how we fill our black water tank.
That's a really good idea, actually. Mm-hmm. Could we could still film that, and I could, you know,
sorry,
splice
that's
it.
Already happened today. It ain't gonna come again.
Oh, okay.
That ship
but
has
then
sailed.
It's not a complete video. You know, we like to be, you know, we're very detail oriented when we try to give you these educational pieces. Anyway, that is a video on how to deal with your black and gray water and that whole compartment down there, all the fun little dials and hoses you can encounter there. Yeah, maybe not as professional a video as I had hoped, but I think you get the gist of it. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them down below in our comment section. And of course, give this video a thumbs up. Yeah. And subscribe. That's it for now. From Tanya and Kevin. And Dusty the RV, nice and squeaky clean. Bye! Here's our bonus video. As I was mentioning, our sensors in the tanks seem to be confused. You just watched us empty the gray water and the black water tanks. And watch this. I'm gonna press our level test here. So we have some floating things in the black water tank, and then strangely enough, the gray water tank shows that it's completely full, and it's not, because we just emptied, as you saw. So what that means is that our sensors are dirty sensors, and that's happened to us before. And you can actually get a product at like Camping World or online, and it's intended to clean your tank. And so we've done that. You put it in there and then fill it up, not all the way, but then you drive around. So it's good to do at the beginning of a long trip, and it swooshes and swooshes and it cleans the sensors. Well, you know, we've been sitting here for quite some time, but a couple months ago we did take one trip and we did put some stuff in. And I guess, you know, there's a lot of minerals in the water here, so I don't know, it didn't work. I think the very top light on the gray water started, you know, going away again and coming back, but now it's just red all the time again. So we will have to just take a longer trip, which is a good idea. So we'll do that again, and in the meantime, that's it. That's your bonus footage for today. Take care. Bye.